All right.
Hi, this is Don Clark with FM Database Consulting and FileMaker.minutes, and we're interviewing people here at FileMaker Devcon 2016 at the Cosmo in Las Vegas. And with me today is one of the icons of FileMaker, Matt Navarre of Apps.Works.
App.Works.
App.Works, put the S in the wrong spot.
That's all right.
And formerly MSN Media, and he operates out of Portland, and he's certified, what, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
Yep, I got
pretty
the
soon
whole
15,
collectible set.
yeah. And you do the FileMaker Portland, or the Portland
Meetup group?
FileMaker group.
Yeah. Actually, Joe Chang in Portland has taken it over for the
Okay.
last year or so. But I started that group 15 or so years ago.
Okay,
And
yeah.
which has been a really great thing.
Yeah, and then you do FileMakerTalk.com with Matt Petrosky.
Yep.
Yeah, and so, and by the way, I'm going to be on that right after we get done with this.
That's
so
right.
look for that on his. So, anyway, thanks for joining me today.
Sure.
This has really been a lot of fun. We've never met before this. I don't know how that
I don't know how that happened either.
But nevertheless, I'm glad to meet you. And let's talk a little bit about what happened with FileMaker with you. What got you started in FileMaker?
Well, I'm one of the real old timers. I go back to, I think, 1985 or so with FileMaker.
Wow. You
Back
beat me
then,
by 4 years.
I started, remember Egghead Software?
Yeah.
The retail chain? That was
Yes.
one of my first jobs
Mhm.
out of college, while I was in college actually.
Yeah.
And the store was open till 9 p.m.
Right.
And every day there was no one who came in between 7 and 9. And so once the store was clean, we just sort of played with software and did whatever we were going to do.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
I opened up all the business software and started playing with it. We had in the store, we had a Mac, a PC, and an Apple IIgs.
I remember that. I sold those actually.
And I gravitated towards the Mac, of course.
Right.
And I opened up FileMaker, and that was kind of my first exposure to it.
Mhm.
Actually, even before that,
What
I did
version
some work.
was it?
I think it was like FileMaker 4, or it might even have been before that, like Nashoba FileMaker.
Nashoba FileMaker, I
Nutshell
think.
FileMaker,
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Nashoba or
I was
Nashoba.
talking to a guy yesterday from New York, originally. He's in Dallas now, Dennis Burnham, and he started in '85. So, and he said
Yeah.
it was Nashoba that he started on.
Yeah, actually, I did databases in even before that on DOS, like right out of high school,
Okay.
with a thing called Friday, which is based on DBase 2.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
I did Omnis 5 back then.
Oh yeah, I did a little Omnis, a little bit of 4D,
Yeah.
but I wasn't really ever good at either
Right.
of those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was getting your head around that back in the '80s was difficult.
It was tough. Those
Yeah.
were real programs back
Mhm.
then. And
Yeah.
FileMaker was much simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned essentially relational. They loaded everything in the memory when they put a record in, things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that, and they didn't have good instructions back
Yep,
then.
yep.
They had nothing.
Yeah, I had Hypercard and stuff like
Yeah.
that back in the
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
And then kind of did that, a lot of that kind of at different jobs I had. I had sales jobs and other kind of jobs
Mhm.
then. But I actually did consulting even all the way back in that, in those days.
Okay.
And then at some point I just changed my whole career and just only did FileMaker. I think that was around 87.
Wow, that's
That's
still
before.
early.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's just a
87,
single.
89.
I didn't even know what it was at that point in time. I was in the restaurant business at that point in time in the resort area in New Mexico. And I was using Omnis 5. I was
Yeah.
writing software.
Mhm.
I was actually receiving and POs and stuff like that using Omnis 5. But as soon as I found out about FileMaker, I bought an Apple computer store in 1989, and they had FileMaker, and I fell in love. That was the end of it.
Yeah.
That's what I started developing in.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I remember, the challenges, I remember when FileMaker 3 came out and it became truly relational.
Yeah.
It really took a long time for me to wrap my head around it. I remember the frustration of
Mhm.
trying to get the full meaning of what a relational database was, and not just lookups like what we had before,
Right.
but actually, two separate tables and
Yeah,
how they
and
link
this one
to what
links to
primary
that
key
one,
was.
and yeah.
It seems funny looking back at it now.
Yeah, now it's so easy, yeah. but-
Having
yeah.
done, hundreds of data models for customers over the years.
Yeah. What do you specialize in, or do you?
Well, let's see. Well, now I have so App.Works is a consulting company. We've got 4 full-time employees and a couple of contractors, and we do a lot of work in public health, but we do really a lot of just general business, we have a lot of church clients at the moment.
Nonprofit type things?
Yeah, nonprofits and like groups of churches and like a camp on the Oregon coast. And I love projects like that. The thing in the opening session yesterday, we talked about
Oh, yeah,
purpose.
in Papua New Guinea? Yeah.
Yes, the
Mhm.
purpose aspect of it has been really, really big for me.
Mhm.
And so a project that I care about deeply is always the one that I would look more for. And so the public health one, the thing that so let me step back on that one. 6 or 7 years ago, I had just left a company that I had started, which was a vertical market company, Pre-One Software, and changing gears to like going back to just doing consulting. And I had the opportunity to help out the state of Oregon in public health. They have a disease surveillance system, and they had one FileMaker database and a whole bunch of other systems based on a lot of other platforms, none of which talk to each other. And this is for preventing the spread of infectious disease.
Okay, that's
So
nice.
directly saving lives. And so, like with a lot of effort and really, really great cooperation from the people at the public health division, we created a new database called Orpheus, Oregon Public Health Epidemiology User System.
That's a mouthful.
And that has grown quite a bit. Actually, there's several people here at Devcon who work on that thing, who are employees of the state. But yeah, that was the purpose of that. Really, really motivated me to over-deliver and do a good job with that. So yeah, that's definitely been a common thread in my career. And even after all the years I've been doing FileMaker, I still love programming.
I do too. I'm supposed to get away from it and do more project management. And,
and
run
running
the business and the marketing side. And this is the marketing.
I keep fighting it because I want to do some amount of coding no matter what.
And I'm still finishing up a project that I had to take over because one of my subcontractors got really sick.
Oh yeah.
And so I picked it up and I went way overboard on it, but it was a really neat thing. And it was with what do you call it, a medical bands, so you can put your information, custom engraving on bands, so people can put down, hey, if you pick me up, you can't tube me, you can't give me this, I'm a diabetic.
Yeah, I'm allergic to this drug.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people out there, so I wrote software to do connect them up to a third-party source. They had their own website, but then they had Amazon store and eBay store, all these different stores, and they had to do custom engraving. Nobody could handle that. So we'd set it all up, and then I'd go out there and query the store using SOAP. Had to learn SOAP.
Nice.
Yeah, and pulling stuff back and forth and updating records on there with SOAP. So it's kind of neat, and I went way overboard on it too. We're making phone calls to tell people to remind them to fill out their engraving. We're sending them a Gravity Forms link on the fly. All kinds of neat stuff, which kind of yesterday I thought was really nice. You really can't talk much about what they said at the opening session, but nevertheless, I think that the thrust of FileMaker going forward has been obvious for some time, is that we have to communicate with other types of systems, the real world. So, there's been PHP and ODBC and FM REST, and guys are doing some JSON and stuff like that in JavaScript, and I've been writing about a lot of that stuff because I know you guys talk about it. Have to, because that's what we have to do. We've got to connect to everybody.
That's so true.
Yeah, if we do that, then FileMaker is just going to get stronger.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, people still want that ease of use.
True.
Yeah.
But then, and then any really easy ways we can connect to all those other systems is a hugely important thing.
Yeah.
And what I love about the FileMaker community is a lot of those methods are really shared freely. Like you find the person who wrote something to connect to. Actually, what's one we're doing right now? We're doing MailChimp Integration. Where I've never done those before, but there's some really good ways to do it, and they're up on Todd Geist's site. What's that? Modular FileMaker.
Oh, Modular FileMaker. Yes.
So I did a little research and found poof. There's a module that somebody built and took the time to kind of perfect and optimize and say, here, this is the systems that you need to connect to MailChimp.
I need to go back on there and look again. I don't know if you've seen. I have the FileMaker example files list on my website, and I have 260.
Wow.
All I do is link to stuff that people say there's a download file for free.
Oh, okay.
And it's got like 22,000 visits since I started it up. So people are starting to really get behind it. It's really nice because, if you want to find, it's built on Listly. list.ly.
Okay.
So it's integrates, it's just a little plug into my WordPress website. Put it on there, but if you want to do a search on it, you can do a search on anything, a phrase or just a word, and it pops back the results with a link to the website that has the download.
So the whole FM Pro Gurus for you is not, it's just sort of, you've got your business where you do consulting for clients, and then you've got this other aspect which is sort of community service, or just because for the love of the game kind of a thing?
It's that, it also helps keep my name out there.
Sure.
People do some stuff that comes up with a hit. It leads back to me. I got my plug on the website. Yeah. And it's working. I'm getting business off of it. This kind of stuff helps me. It helps you. Helps anybody that's willing to sit across the camera from me because it's a free plug for them. Guy from
I just like talking about FileMaker.
Most of them do. Most of nobody has a problem talking about FileMaker if you're a developer. They love it, and everybody likes to share it.
Yeah.
I enjoy this. I get to meet everybody.
Oh, true.
And
yeah, that was when I first started the podcast. The best thing about it was it gave me a reason to call anybody in the industry, and it gave me, I can say, hey, I want to talk to you about this thing. And so, when I'm starting out, this is my 18th Devcon, but back in the day, I podcasted, I don't know, started maybe 10 or 15 years ago. I didn't know a lot of these people. I couldn't just walk up to David Knight and say, hi, I'm Matt Navarre, can I ask you a question?
Right.
I just didn't feel like I could do that. But with the podcast, it was like, can I interview you? And then you sit down with someone for an hour and you talk about things before you actually do the thing, and you can get any kind of tech question and all that. You've got, a really...
You got some meat to put in your...
Yes. And well, actually, just the huge benefit to my own learning career was the thing that I really got from a lot of those people back.
Yeah.
Before we then actually sat down and did the interview, and the interview was usually kind of talking about their company.
Yeah, and that's kind of what these have been. I haven't been high on technical stuff, but we do get a nugget here and there.
Sure.
David Knight, I had to go out to California a year and a half ago. So I looked up in California and said, oh, David Knight. So I called him up and sent him an email and stuff, and he said, sure. So I stopped by his office and we did an interview. I got to meet him, got to meet all the people in his staff, see his place downtown there.
Oh, yeah, I know his office.
Yeah, great office.
It's amazing.
It is, and he's right across the street from all the different studios. I mean, literally in walking distance. So he's got
you can
that.
see the Hollywood sign from his window or something?
Yeah, I think so. But it was interesting. So we went over there and had a good time, and he took a couple hours out of his day.
Yeah.
Helped me out quite a bit.
Yeah.
So it's nice. That's one of the biggest things, is learning everybody in the community.
Yeah, definitely.
And it is a feel-good thing. I went to the FileMaker Champion. You've heard of that program, FileMaker Champions?
I don't know if I have.
Okay, they started in May, and you get invited into it, and you should be in it, of course. And you sign up your social media accounts, and then they send you things. You can earn badges, and it's just for the love of FileMaker. Do you want to promote FileMaker so that it kind of links all of our stuff together? There were 600 and some odd people, I think, in the group. But there's about...
Is this part of the community thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think I...
Yeah, it's Champion. FileMaker Champions at FileMaker.com is their email address. That's where I got this little thing today.
Nice.
So, but I was talking to him. I want to be on the council. I don't know if they'll invite me or not. That's, it was kind of neat to talk to him, because you can share your blog stuff. You can share your FileMaker Talk podcast to that, and then they will push it. And other people are free to push it as well, but you get a link back to your FileMakerTalk.com from FileMaker's website.
Yeah.
So
that's good.
That's about as high as authority as you can get in the FileMaker world in terms of authority for a link.
Yeah, it's in the top 5 anyway.
Yeah, it's got to be right up there. I haven't looked to see what's
right up after like DB services and people who are really
he's
good
everywhere.
at marketing.
Well, he buys a lot of ads too, so that helps him.
Well, yeah, he does actually everything right.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually kind of the model. That's what I really kind of want to get towards is now that we're actually have companies, right? We've got staff, and it's not just about the craft of doing great FileMaker. Kind of the nature of what we're trying to do has changed. So I need to get expertise, as do you, in doing more of the marketing and making sure you've got the whole wheel sort of filled out with sales plus marketing plus blogs plus other media, social media, things that we aren't comfortable with because we're open. You've got to be at least 40.
Well, just a little past that. Yeah. But I do a lot of that. In fact, Robert and I, the guy that's helping with the filming here, is a marketing master as well. We've been working this stuff for quite a bit. I only started this blog 3 years ago. It does real well in the ratings and stuff like that. And we do everything. When I post something, it goes onto Facebook, it goes onto Twitter, it goes onto LinkedIn, it goes onto Tumblr. It gets promoted properly. I make sure the SEO is green and the readability is green, everything all the way around. And just keep doing that and add new content all the time. And it starts to rank finally.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of time.
It does,
I mean, you can buy that kind of stuff, but
it
doesn't do much for you.
No, it's just better if it's actually real.
Yeah, so that's the kind of thing, and I'm learning more about it as we go along. We're still learning about. I mean, we are learning about how to do all these types of things. How do you make your websites rank? You have to have some original content. You have to have properly done. You should do some video. What kind of video? Now the new thing, Facebook Live. Have you done any Facebook Live?
I haven't yet.
I did one, And it was not about FileMaker. I just wanted to try it, so I was at home with my pool and my dogs. I threw
Yeah.
the dogs in the pool, you know, and then
I was
swim
reading a
after
minute ago,
sunset.
Alexis Allen was just on Facebook Live
With
today.
Tara.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sarah Severson?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, Tara
Tara.
DeSetta with FileMaker.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a 24-minute video. I don't know if it was
Wow.
live, but yeah, we had Alexa Allen. And I saw that, and then I went to this breakfast this morning and talked to Tara, introduced myself,
Okay.
and said I saw it. It was really neat, you know. So yeah, they were on Facebook Live, and there was another Facebook Live yesterday. And it's neat how I just did it on from my backyard for just to try it.
Yeah.
And I had 3 people online while I did a 2-minute video.
Yeah.
3 people
Watching.
came online and watched it
That's fun.
live. It just blows me away. I don't know how they must have been online and it popped
Yeah.
up and said something.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's a
Oh,
lot
you
of
got a pretty
possibilities
good,
there.
you get a big network on Facebook. There's people on.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, let me check now. I'm just kidding.
I thought about trying to do it from here, but the internet's not as
Oh, yeah?
robust as we probably would like to have
Oh, it's
Facebook Live.
quite good on the conference floor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
it was
up
like
here.
200 megabit down there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it said it was good up here, but we're not having the page loads and stuff as fast as we wanted to do. We tried to set up 3 camera set for something called Minicam, but it didn't work. Not yet. We wanted to
So,
do it for a while.
in the FileMaker area, so how long have you been? You've been in business like a little bit less than me, you said? Like started in what, in the 90s?
I started in '89
89? Okay. That's
using
a long
FileMaker,
time.
and I started doing consulting. I was doing it for my own business,
Mhm.
and then I started consulting to other people.
So what was your business back then?
I had an Apple computer store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was an Apple education dealer and
Oh, okay.
retail, and I sold to Sandia Labs and Los Alamos and things like that.
So you're in New Mexico?
Yeah,
or-
I'm out of Albuquerque.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I did all that kind of stuff.
Oh, what was the name of the store?
It was called CLI Computers. I purchased it from somebody.
Oh, okay.
It said for Crystal Leasing Incorporated. So,
I've worked for a bunch of different Apple resellers. There's a
Yeah.
couple of many.
have you?
Yeah.
Okay. And we did real well for quite a while, but then Apple fell on hard times. We
Yeah.
moved away from that.
Yeah.
So I started doing a lot of that. I was a tech guy too. I was a Microsoft certified systems engineer, an Apple engineer. I did
Mm-hmm.
Apple repairs, all that kind of stuff. So I went ahead and did that, and a lot of networking and setting up computers and making Macs and PCs talk together. But all along on the side, I was doing FileMaker
Right.
for a lot of different people as
Yeah,
well.
helping it, using it to run your business.
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
yeah, but I've got 5,000 databases to run things, I think, probably, you know, over the years that I've used
Yeah.
for different stuff. You need a little bit of stuff, you write a little database for it, or you integrate it into one of the other ones. you know.
Exactly.
So, and I'm sure you've done that 1,000 times too. So that's what we did. That's how, and then finally I just started about 5 years ago, so this is what I want to do. I'm tired of doing the IT stuff, crawling around on the ground.
Pulling cable.
It was changing too, at that point in
Yes.
time. It was changing to where everybody's going to a centralized model and they sit back and watch things 24 hours a day, wait
Yes.
for something to go wrong or get close to the going wrong, and I didn't have the
Yeah,
staff for that.
there's not much creativity in that either.
No.
This is one of the other things I really, really love about FileMaker is that it really is creative.
Yeah.
You know, I studied music in college, but I never really wanted to work in that area.
Mhm.
But the creation of a database and applying all the stuff we know about what you can do with FileMaker, basically kind of, to me, it kind of like has the expertise, or it feels like playing an instrument that you play really well. Because you know all of the capabilities and you can do it without looking. And so if a customer comes to you and says, oh yeah, I've got this business project and I've got these problems and I need to do these things, in your head you're sort of composing exactly what it's going to be. And then you sit in your computer and now you're actually performing, you're kind of building out that thing. But,
Good way to put it.
Yeah, to me it really feels very similar to the music process.
And I hear that from a lot of developers when I subcontract them, I talk to them, and then from the clients. Well, can we do this too?
Right.
Well, let me think about that for a second. Yes, we can.
Yeah.
And then I may not know how I'm going to do it exactly line for the code, but I know I can make it happen.
Yeah, but then-
and most FileMaker developers are the same way. Sure, I can do that. Like, whatever it is, I can do
But then it's
it.
like a gig, right? You got a gig. And so you go to the client and they'll have, oh yeah, these things that you need to do, those are 8 songs you play all the time and you know them all.
Yeah.
And then there's like 2 that are like you have to write a new song for that particular problem.
Right.
You got to go learn REST, you got to go learn
Soap.
some integration SOAP and some other thing to do it. Yeah, that part's great. Go always be on the learning curve.
Yeah, I love learning, so.
Yeah.
What do you do for fun?
Travel, play music.
What do you play?
Lately I've been playing classical guitar more.
Okay.
I've played a lot of different styles of guitar in the past and
Mhm.
studied piano, but yeah, classical guitar.
And you like to travel. You were just
Yeah, ride my bike.
19 days?
Yeah, 16 days in
16 days in Europe?
Yeah, Europe, yeah, which was great.
Yeah. And you're a bike rider?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I live in Portland.
Is it a mountain bike or a
I have road bikes.
road bike?
Yeah, actually not even really like proper road bikes. They're just sort of riding around town bikes. But
Yeah.
yeah, Portland's a great bicycling city.
Is it really? Yeah. A lot of hills? I've never been to Portland.
Yeah, I don't like the
See it?
hills though, but yeah. I like the flat next to the river, you know?
Okay.
Lots of bike trails.
Okay. Yeah, Albuquerque has quite a few too, but we're a mile high.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of hills because we're right on
Yeah.
the mountain range. So
Yeah, I've been through there.
Yeah, it's difficult sometimes.
It's nice.
But you get used to it.
Santa Fe's better, but
Well,
just
Santa Fe,
different.
people from Santa Fe is the problem, so
Oh.
we just call it fantasy.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
there's-
funny.
Yeah, but there's a lot of good people up there. Don't get me wrong.
It's just such a beautiful place. All the old
Oh, it's gorgeous.
architecture and
Yeah.
like the
Mhm.
oldest church in the country, I think, is there.
They have that one,
Yeah.
the one with a circular staircase. That they
Yes.
built.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget the name of the church, darn it.
I've been in that. It's been a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah, and that's supposed to be a miracle in itself because it was built without nails, without
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, so, and it is fascinating to see it. They don't let people walk on it
Nope.
anymore. But, hey, it's 150 years old.
Yeah.
Plus. Anyway, well, is there anything more you want to add to whatever you want to tell people about what you do with FileMaker or anything, or?
I don't know. Ask me some questions. I've got all day.
Yeah, well, we've got actually somebody coming up.
Oh yeah. So we got a little more time.
Yeah, Christo is coming up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Great
and
guy.
so, and I want to make sure I got time for doing the other interview.
Oh yeah. We're doing.
So, let's make sure we revisit. You're with now App.Works.
Yeah, App.Works.
Yeah, is the name of your website.
Yeah, we chose to not do the .com thing.
Right.
And yeah, really the app, that whole phrase is obviously huge in FileMaker's marketing right now.
Oh, yeah.
But also really it better reflects what we do.
You do
back in the
have an
day,
app.
25 years ago, when I named the company MSN Media, it was kind of like a media company. I did FileMaker, but I also did some music stuff and some other kind of things, and media was kind of a good term for that.
Right.
But that was actually before Microsoft even founded MSN
yeah.
by 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So then MSN came along, and I'm like,
You got cool.
now I've been, then it was at the time it was confused for MSN,
Mhm.
like the AOL competitor
Yeah,
email thing.
yes,
Now
MSN.
everybody thinks of it as MSNBC,
Right.
and which is kind of a polarizing thing because it's leans. I don't want to be
It
connected.
leans one way, and if you're
Yeah, it doesn't matter
don't,
which way. I just didn't want to be
Exactly.
connected to that. So
Mhm.
yeah, App.Works has been in the.
I like the name because that's what it is. Apps are what we're building.
Yep.
You're building a custom application for somebody. And now with apps, with the phones and stuff
Yep.
like that, that's what it is. Everybody knows the word. It's the App Store.
That's true.
So I thought that was pretty smart when I saw your change, about 3-4 months ago? Or was it
Yeah,
longer?
yes, pretty recently.
Yeah, I saw that and thought, I wish I had thought of that one, but hey, we can't think of everything.
There's plenty of other good names out there. Stick with what you got.
I like it. All right, well, at any rate, it's MSN.com is not it anymore, and what it is now App.Works,
App.Works.
and it's Matt Navarre, and everybody knows. FileMakerTalk.com as well, and this is Don Clark signing off for this interview at Devcon 2016. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, John.
Cool, man. Thank you.
All right.